Hello, my Jelly Fighters. My name is Jim, and this is your Daily Brogue for the 15th of October 2021. So, aren't you glad that I'm talking? I think probably talking about these things does, to some extent, make me a worse player of the game. It also gets me through. It gets me through a bunch of runs. I'm sitting here trying to work something out. Right now, what I'm trying to work out is Mina Lee, right? I'd love to say that she came to me because of my extensive personal training skills, but this is not true. I have no personal training skills, except those I got in the Marine Corps, and those probably don't work. And she looks like she's still a little young to overdo it in the gym. Right, the girls that are really into exercise tend to be pretty young or real athletes, right? Pretty old, excuse me, or real athletes. Now, I'm an old man, so I still find them hot, but one of the things you have to remember is that as men get older, they just expand the number of women they're interested in. They don't stay interested in just young women, and they don't move their window up. Women move their window up, right? So, in general, not always. Okay, so trying to deal with this Mina Lee. Oops. Well, situation. What situation is that? Well, we're trying to talk about conspicuous consumption. And especially conspicuous consumption on TikTok, right? Mina's most recent post, according to me, right? At the time I'm doing this, is TikTok is kind of bad for fashion. It's more or less on conspicuous consumption, why conspicuous consumption is baddish. Although it's not just conspicuous consumption, maybe it's just a subset of conspicuously consumed things. In this case, it's fashion, in particular cheap fashion, which is the thing that makes it a little bit weird. And because what she's going to do is she is going to discuss fashion in a strange way. That is, she's going to say she doesn't like a certain kind of fashion, cheap fashion, Shein brand, is what she uses as the example. I'm sure there are others similar. It uses cheap materials and has a very small cycle time. That is, when they decide they want to make a product, it takes them almost no time at all to do so. Okay, let's see, what is a blue potion life? Oh well. There's some little eels in them that are hills. Hopefully I'll make it. No, I won't. Not feeling really good right now about this whole thing. So So she didn't like the cheapness, and she didn't like, not because it was cheap, but because it was bad for the environment. And she didn't like, I guess, the sort of lack of respect for designers, the true artistes. It's hard to say why she was so upset about the 3-day turnaround cycle. I like that a lot. So as we were talking about before, she was perfect for me. She's talking about these $1,000 underwear. And why they're not overpriced. One is the materials. Talked about that a lot. Chantilly lace, handmade. She goes into some detail about how it's made. Next, the labor of the lingerie designer, right? So that's probably pretty expensive. Those guys probably take home quite a bit. I feel like the idea here is that the labor of everyone else is also supposed to be respected in a way it usually is not. She includes all sorts of things, right? So the labor of photographers and models, makeup artists and hairstylists, so that God damn. And so you add in a lot of things, and these are all crap, not prepared. These are all things that are really very capitalist in nature, right? So it's very strange to hear somebody decrying conspicuous consumption while simultaneously talking about the labor of photographers, models, makeup artists, and hairstylists for advertisements, because those are all sort of capitalist things. Even having a lingerie designer is a highly capitalist thing. That's not going to happen in any other system. It's only a capitalist system. Only a free market system would allow you to have a lingerie designer as an occupation, let alone a high status one, like she perceives it. So I just kind of feel there's a contradiction here. There's a contradiction in this assault on capitalism, where really the assault shouldn't be on capitalism. It should be on the general idea of status, right? Which is one of our needs, right? This is what the one of our hierarchies of needs. In our hierarchy of needs, we need food, we need shelter, we need some sort of engagement, but we also need status. If we don't have that status, we are incomplete. She's perfectly happy to have that status for laundry designer. She's not happy for upper middle class girls who order too many cheap clothes, right? From Shein, and then show them off on TikTok. It's not my thing, but if that's their thing and other people are into it, it seems to me that's perfectly fine. So what she's really against is the democratization of status that comes with capitalism, which is the thing that most people really care about with capitalism, is the democratization of status. That's the thing that really gets them the most. Then they make up, all sorts of bullshit around that. Because that doesn't sound good. Saying, I want to be the gatekeeper of status doesn't sound good. Saying inequality sounds good. But then you come around and you say, well, inequality, it's bad, but at least we can get rid of some of that inequality by not letting girls wear clothes on the internet.